Okay, so we are back with the Back on Track boot camp. Another amazing day and an amazing conversation. I'm very, very glad to be here with you guys again. And we get to dive into a really important topic, self-love, honey. Yeah. And I can't wait to introduce you to our special guest today. But let me talk to you a little bit about self-love first, right? So self-love is such a huge word, and it's one that has probably received a lot of attention in the last few years. But what does it really mean, right? What does it really mean to love yourself, and how does that impact your business? So hello, community. I'm Amanda Fludd, your resident mindset coach and business strategist, and I work with women in business to help them get from fear to extraordinary goals so they can just do some dope things with all their expertise, right? Many of you have like amazing ideas, but you get stuck in that place of perfectionism, self-doubt, that sense of not knowing or not being good enough. And I think if we were to honestly peel back the layers of that, you would really have to examine like how well you love yourself, right? So if it's okay with you, I thought today for the Back on Track boot camp that we would get to talk about that a little bit. We're about to peel back some layers a little bit as we get into self-love and what it means for you and what it means for your business. So if you are ready, let us know in the chat. Drop a like, a heart, a yes, whatever it is. I'd like to kick off with your permission. So let us know if it's okay for us to continue. Whatever applies to you, let us know in the comments, right? Because we're about to take a hard look at yourself. So far, we've looked at your intention, we've worked out your trauma, and today we're about to sweat some more. And helping me do that, I'm not doing it by myself, helping me do that is the amazing Anamaria Tromp, who's a woman empowerment coach, which is pretty cool. So Anna, hey, welcome to the community. Very, very glad to have you.
Hi, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the invite and for having
Ah, listen, thank you for saying yes. I tell people all the time, like half the battle in life is just saying yes, asking questions and yes. So thank you for saying yes. If you can please just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you and what you do.
I'm Tromp. I am a woman empowerment coach. I am a mom of two little girls. We jumped full time into my business for anyone since same as they and at a very young age I was burned out. So that the journey of self personal development, and I am very passionate about helping women avoid a burnout, get out of overwhelm, get out of feeling stuck, and like energy, more clarity and confidence, and really create the life they want.
Ooh, okay. And I love that. It's a little choppy, but I hope that everyone can hear us well. And Anna's in this realm of helping you get out this place of burnout to fabulous. And I think we all get to that place of burnout. So it's good to be able to have those conversations, right? And let's get straight into it. Like when you think about self-love, right? What are some of the signs that we might be off track, right? To me, like a huge indication is that you're afraid to pursue your dreams. And I would, I really love to just see more women, or want them to really take more risks, right? But I think in order for them to take risks and go after their dreams, they've got to be able to love themselves and to love themselves enough to like follow through, right? But from your perspective and your experience in the work that you do, how would you define self-love, or how do we know that we're off track?
I think that when you have difficulty prioritizing yourself, so what you just mentioned, making your dreams a priority, because you find it difficult to constantly thinking yourself, find that you more else than your own, or someone else will be in than your own. The self-talk as well. That's also of a little bit being constant self-talk, as well as I think it's kind of your actions and your thoughts that certain results. So overgiving, overachievement, prove yourself are signs of, that I was kind of like paying attention to where I love myself.
Okay, so I'm hearing like every other works. I don't know what is happening because was talking before we kicked off, and I heard everything
Oh,
fine. And now
okay.
that we kicked off, it's like it's like a little choppy static happening.
Okay. Perfectly.
Yeah, I don't know, girl, but I heard a little bit of kind of trouble making ourselves a priority. It could be over giving a little bit. So I guess it's that sense of like we're overextending ourselves for everything.
Yeah. We're always saying yes to people instead of ourselves. Finding difficulty, like when goals to they actually need to take. I don't think in my like women. Can you hear me all now? Is it better?
Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So in my experience, I haven't really clients that automatically walk around saying I don't know myself or I'm not worth. Your actions do reflect this, like prioritizing someone else's opinion and your goals before yours is a sign that, yeah, you should, where could I love myself more? Yes.
So it's a bit of your actions. And say the last part again. Is it about asking where I can love myself more?
Yeah, it's like difficult to prioritize yourself without feeling kind of guilt. So I am doing something wrong when I do that, or shame. I wrong to do that at the same time. When you find it difficult to create space in your life, is also a sign in guilt and shame as well. So these are signs that you are off track when it comes to self-love. I think that it's not a continuous thing. There might be areas you find it more easier to love yourself or to show more respect to yourself than in other areas of your life. With a lot of women that might have more difficulties setting boundaries at work that they would have maybe in friendship. So it's not that black and white and someone is not loving themselves in all areas of their life. So in big areas of your life more than in other areas.
Okay, so I love that because it's not always super clear how it may show up, I guess, but there's things that you can look for, and even like the emotional things like shame and guilt, that might be a sign that there may be something else going on.
Yeah, yes, for sure. And I make the distinction as in because sometimes we don't even connect that when you feel guilt, it's because you feel that you are doing something wrong, right? And when you feel shame, it's because you feel that you are wrong, like there's something wrong with you in a sense. So that's something also to pay attention to, that it might show up in your business in terms of, oh, I need to work on a Saturday and I want to do that, but the kids are home. Can I really take that hour? Do I feel guilt for doing that? Do I feel like the worst mom ever for doing that? So those are things that I think that sometimes they're not that obvious that you are feeling that you're doing something wrong or that there's something wrong with you. That also it's important to pay attention to when it comes to self-love. And the majority of people, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, and I think also like, even if I would look back at the time when I was pre-burnout, like it wouldn't have been visual for someone. Like people were like in shock, like how is it even possible? I thought you had everything together because we walk
really
around
on the outside.
It looks very good on the outside. I wasn't like depressed in the bed crying or not looking good in the eyes of everyone or looking that I was struggling, but I was like, I don't think that I even noticed that for myself. So I think that a lot of us have like this, I should be able, there are a lot of shoots as well. It's also a sign to pay attention to. that you're doing a lot of things because it should be like that. Like you should be able to handle everything. And that might show up more often that you're aware of, because it's something that you're not constantly conscious walking around like, oh, I don't love myself. No, I look good. I dress up. I put a lipstick on. I'm not walking around depressed, but it doesn't mean that there are signs that you should pay attention to.
Just like so powerful, because like you're pointing to this level of like, it just really isn't always that obvious, but it's probably showing up in little ways in your business, and probably bigger ways that you recognize, even if everyone else can't really see it. And I think a lot of us are kind of in this place where we feel like we're working on ourselves. Like, yeah, we look really good, our hair is done, and like, you know, we got this and we have that. But do we still really love ourselves, right? Are we still really taking care of that core person? Because you might not be. And that's the part that we've got to look out for.
Yeah, and it like there's so much layers to that self-love aspect. Like if I look, like, for example, to myself, like there was a different layer of self-love that I needed to show to myself when I became a mom, for example. There was a different layer to that when I became a business owner, because it showed in a different way. I was waking up at 5 o'clock to give my kids organic food, because that was the thing that a good mom should do.
Well, I'm gonna grate this apple and boil this and mush this up.
Yeah.
Right.
It was impossible that they would get something out of a jar.
Oh, a jar, no.
We don't do that. But then you work through that, and you understand that there will no one be there to take care of them if you don't take care of yourself. So it could have been that I would have breakfast at 9 and those type of things are the signs of self-love. And in my business, it's kind of, and what I see with my clients as well, that it might show up specifically with business related. And are you comfortably charging and asking your worth? Like, are you really afraid of being not validated by your clients' response on your offers? Or are you able to show up and be invisible without being afraid of being rejected, for example? So we have a lot of dreams, and it's very scary, because being invisible in your business, whether it's online or in a one-on-one conversation with a client, loving yourself, in my experience, has been like really showing up and knowing that regardless of their no or yes, I am worth it. I am enough.
Don't change your worth. Right.
Yeah, it doesn't change. And what I ask for my services is not my value, right? Like, I'm worth millions. I'm not asking millions to someone. So to me, it has been like that. That's how it has shown. I needed to evolve in that. And I see that as well in my clients. Like, there are different levels of self-love that we need to go through. And a kind of, it's about the journey, not the destination. I've kind of accepted that part, that there will not be like, oh, now I'm like 100% loving myself completely, because then there is a different phase in your life in which it requires you to kind of evolve and then get to that next level of self-love.
So depending on what's going on, it may challenge you a little bit more, right? So who you were yesterday may not be the person that you need to be today. Not that that person is any less, but you've got to keep pushing and growing and developing and evolving.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Such good stuff to kind of think about, right? Because it's so many areas that's really impacted by who we are and how we kind of show up for ourselves, right? So I guess when we kind of think about it, what are some like concrete things that we could do if we're starting to recognize that maybe we're not loving ourselves as good as we thought, because we're over showing up or under showing up or kind of selling ourselves short? So what can we do about that?
I think that to start, it's important to be aware of what it is that self-love means to you. Like, asking yourself indeed, where do I need to love myself first? Because we tend to then want to like revamp our whole life in one time. So it's important to kind of have a good understanding for yourself of, okay, what is one area that I could focus on that would have like an impact if I would love myself a little bit more? And what do I mean by that? Like, is it that I need to nurture my body better, right? Like, is it that at work I need to not place myself in very toxic situations? Or is it my relationship that I need to get myself out of certain toxic relationships that are not showing, that are not allowing me to really love myself that in the best way? So knowing exactly what it means to you, knowing where there is improvement to be made in a sense. I also think that it's important to understand how your past, and I've saw other interviews about like really understanding how your past still has a hold on you, because it's like, it's most of the time what the core wound is, do I feel enough? Do I feel am I worth it all? There is something in the past that still is playing a role.
Repeating that, right, and kind of
It's a repeat. It's in your unconsciousness, right? So you don't walk around saying, "Hey, I don't love myself," but it might play, like, might be the tape in the bag that
it's in
putting
the
your
core
actions
somewhere.
yeah. Because then you know what you need to change. Like, what I call it, like the detox phase when I work with clients. Like, one is like defining who you are in a sense, and the other phase is like kind of detoxing of things that are not serving you anymore because you've been doing them on automatic pilot. And if you're not aware of, you will keep doing that. So sometimes you
the Caribbean people say you gotta purge. It's time for a purge, honey, right? So you may have to let go of some of the things that just is not serving you anymore, right?
Yeah. I remember for myself, like, even accepting that I was diagnosed, like, okay, you are burnout. I thought, like, that's impossible. I'm a fighter and I was raised to like really prove myself and work hard. And at a certain point, that wasn't serving me anymore. Like, being the perfectionist that would not feel anything to be enough was not serving me anymore. So I needed to work on that, right? I needed to like really detox from that and start a recovery journey in that. I also think that what I also advise clients to do, like, it's a very simple question, but like, what do I need right now? Because we are constantly like going from goal to goal, from business project to the other, like taking care of everyone, but what do you need right now? It's such a simple question to ask you every morning or at night, like, to kind of take the time to really think about that. Like, what do I need right now? I love journaling, so I think it's a good brain dump, specifically for like business women. We tend to live too much from the neck up, and we should live more from the neck down. So it allows you to really connect with your body. Like, what do I need right now? Is it rest? Is it like to nurture my body in a different way? Yeah. So I think, and also boundaries. I mean, very cliche, I guess, when we talk about it, but boundaries are here to keep you safe. They're not your enemy. They're not no one's else enemy. But you, and let me just take a step back. You really need to know who you are, what you want, before you can accept yourself. And there is a difference in accepting the status quo, that conditioned version of you, or that version that you want to carry on in the future to really get to what you want. So my perfectionist version was not the version that was not it, right? So I needed to kind of understand that was not a part of me that I wanted to carry on. So we detox and then move on and carry on and protect and set boundaries around that new version that I need to be in order to get.
Oh, like this, like this is super powerful, because it forces you, if you really want to do this right, to like slow down and take some step backs, right? Because it's hard to figure out who you are too if you're just like going. And the question is, are you really living out who you want to be, or are you living out who everybody else expects you to be? And I'm thinking about that even just as like an entrepreneur, where there's like this idea of like this hustle mentality where we go all the time, we do so much, we work all these crazy hours, we push, we do, da, 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 and there's no room for like downtime, right? And it's like, is that really who you are? Is that really how you want to operate as an entrepreneur, as a woman, as, you know, a mom, or all these other responsibilities? But you may have to slow that down a little bit to really assess if that is who you are and how you want to flow, right? And if it's not, like, what is the new standard that you want to set for yourself? And that's where the boundaries come in. I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z because that doesn't work for me, right? That's not sustainable for me. That's going to kill my energy, kill my joy, kill my business. And that's not what I want. So I think this is super important if we could really tap into it, because then you can slow down and maybe stop yourself before you like go off that cliff and it's too late, right? Because you're like, yo, I've been on the other side of burnout and that wasn't cool. Right?
No, and let me just be clear that why I'm passionate about helping women with this is I wouldn't have wanted any other way. Like, it really prepared me to be able to help other women.
Right.
But it was really like, I describe it as I was something made of glass and it has a certain shape and I broke down in pieces, and I really took that opportunity to like glue myself together in a shape and form that would serve that new version of me. I just couldn't, I kept asking like, okay, what's the deadline? When am I going to be normal again? When will I have energy? And when will this be over? But it wasn't about getting back to what I was. It was about really shaping myself in a different form that would serve me as I moved on. So you don't have to go through to like really burn out to be able to make those choices again, because it was terrible. I mean, I really felt like I lost myself. So you can take steps now to kind of really understand, okay, the direction that I want to go, what do I need in order to get there? And specifically when business, I think you didn't start this journey to end up like really burnout, hustling, like we all want freedom, right? And hating it, like resenting the fact that, you know, really need to work harder to that freedom. No, like we all want the freedom, we all want to enjoy, there's something, not everyone has a business, right? Like if it would have been for everyone, there would not be employers anymore in this world. So you really need to have clarity around why are you doing this? Like, what is it about having a business and how do you want to create that? Because otherwise, when it's like related to that self-love part, we tend otherwise to like really overgive and overachieve and like losing track of why are we doing this? Like, why was this important for me? And I can speak for myself, it's freedom. I want to have that freedom. I want to have that impact on others, being able to serve others. And if I don't love myself, I will not be able to do that, right? Like, yeah.
Just amazing. I love it. Listen, child. So thank you. And thank you so much for really kind of flexing this like self-love muscle with us today, right? And I know I'm taking away a lot, right? So I think those of you guys listening, please feel free to drop in the comments all of your takeaways. I think it'd be good for us to hear some of what kind of sat and resonate with you. For me, it's a lot of really thinking about who you want to be and not letting like something as tough as like burnout or hitting that wall be the thing that reshapes you, but thinking about who you want to be now. And part of that may be really deep diving into who you are, right? And looking at the parts of yourself that maybe need some more attention and some love and some care, because that could be the part that's like eating away at you, right? So so much, right? It's about your actions. It's about looking out for things like guilt and shame. So much. And if you missed it, y'all gonna have to go back and listen to catch it. Okay, because Anna told us some fantastic stuff here and gave us some good questions to ask. You should probably go back, write those questions down, and spend some time at night or in the morning journaling on it to help you get to your answers, right? But Anna, where can people find you? So if you could please let us know all your social information, all of that good stuff. And if there's anything that you're working on in your business. I want to say you have a masterclass coming up, but I don't know if that passed already.
That was Friday. So I created a Facebook group. It was amazing. It was very good. So anyone that would like to have the replay can join the Facebook group, which is Bounce Out of Overwhelm Thrive. But I'm sure you could put also that in the comments. And the topic was what keeps you overwhelmed that you're not aware of. And it's not time management. Let me just spoiler alert, it's not time management. You can find me on Instagram, which is Coach Bounce. And I chose Bounce because it's the resilience. I think that that's like the superpower of women. We are so resilient. So that's what my business is called, Coach and Bounce. That's also the name of my website. So it's www.coachandbounce.com.
Awesome. And we'll make sure to share that everywhere too. Oh, go ahead, girl.
Yeah. So you can work with me in a one-on-one program where we can look at specifically like in what it is that would mean, blessings, what would mean for you to really love yourself more, to really make sure that you are in alignment with what it is that you want to achieve and the version that needs to show up to get there. So that's it. You can send me a DM. I'm very active on Instagram right now. Yeah.
I love it. So what is one last piece of advice or encouragement that you would give for the next woman listening today who might be struggling in this area?
I think you're not alone. I think that what I've come to even appreciate even more, like not only working like locally where I am right now, but also internationally, is that there are so much different layers of self-love. So do not compare. Someone might look like they are so confident and got it all together, but might have different areas to love themselves more. So it's not that black and white. And I think that I've mentioned it before, but it's like there's no final destination. So it's like about the journey. So really show yourself some compassion in terms of we all have some area in which we can show ourselves more love. It's a never-ending story, different layers.
Yeah, I think that is the truth. And learning is constant. Our growth is constant. So it isn't this thing like you wake up and you're like, yeah, I love myself more today and forever.
No, for sure. And even as a women empowerment coach, jumping into a business brings in a different uncomfortable zone. So there for sure are areas in which I think, okay, I can show myself a little bit more love in here. So yeah, circumstances change, and then there are different challenges for you to show yourself more love.
Yeah, and I think as you grow and you stretch in different areas, it's like yourself lets you know that, right? Like, you start to notice like where you're a little bit nervous, where you're a little bit afraid, where you're resistant, things like that. I mean, even just where you're excited too, but like it'll let you know where there's something that still needs a little bit of work, right? So I mean, it's a beautiful thing to keep working. So
yeah,
don't have to see it as this negative. So I mean, just awesome. And again, thank you so much for your time and coming through with us today. Yeah, it's just amazing. For you guys who are listening, if you haven't done so already, make sure to sign up for the swag bag for this. It's like a whole mini conference in one. So you get to put your name on the list, and at the end, you get to walk away with the swag bag full of goodies. Anna has thrown in a 2-hour clarity session. So imagine if this conversation was dope, what it's going to be like working with her one-on-one to really kind of get clear on your goals and move forward with a little bit more confidence, right? I think that's just awesome. Yesterday, I forgot to mention Dr. Williams, who spoke to us about trauma. She put in a coupon for 20% off of a health product and a free ad promo for like an upcoming TV show. Like, we've got some dope stuff in this swag bag, y'all. So make sure you get your name on the list, right? And just keep coming back because there's so much to learn and there's so much to do. Tomorrow, we've been doing a little competition. So whoever invites the most people to the Mindset and Motivation community between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., you get to pick anything from the swag bag list. Okay, so we've got coaching sessions, journals, workbooks, free advertisement, a whole lot. And all you have to do is invite some dope women to the group. So really looking forward to seeing who you guys tell to come on in and hang out, right? But otherwise, as we roll out, as we've been doing, please leave one word for us in the comments about how you feel after today's session. It's been amazing to go back and read some of your comments, and it's really inspiring as well. So while they do that, I'm going to ask Anna, what's one word from your heart today that stands out?
One word, specifically one word?
It can be two if you want.
I would say a sense of self.
Sense of self.
Yeah, I would say that. I think that what leads us to really embrace and accept ourselves is that, and have that confidence is like really having a sense of self, not what people think or what you think you might need to fulfill for other people or for yourself. Like it's really owning yourself, a sense of self.
I hear prioritization of self within that too. Yeah. Beautiful. Ingrid in the chat there put appreciative, so that's awesome. I think my word is going to be healing, because I think especially the last 2 days I've had like a crazy headache, and I realized that I've got to even give myself space to allow my body to heal, right? And healing could mean different things. It could just mean rest. And we've got to learn to listen to what our body wants and what it needs. So I think from this conversation, it's that reminder that part of loving yourself is giving yourself what you need and not scooching that aside for everything else. So I thank you for that. And I thank you for your time. And
thank you for having me.
Oh, such a pleasure. Joy. Go follow Miss Maria. Listen, you got to realize too, like sometimes it makes a difference just to like and follow somebody, even if it's not like the thing that you need. It supports us so much as women in business, especially minority women in business, because it just works within the social media life algorithm and all that stuff. And then you never know who on your feed might need it. So even if it's sharing something that you took away from it and you're like, yeah, I was listening to this dope chick Anna Maria today, let me tell you where to find her and what she was talking about, right? It makes such a difference. So don't ever think your little act of liking, sharing, commenting isn't going to make a difference, because it absolutely does. And we really appreciate all of you guys for listening. And thank you again, Anna, for sharing this space with us. We really are grateful for you. Thank you. And see you guys tomorrow on the Back on Track boot camp for our next series. I know Rhonda's coming up tomorrow to talk about self-care, which is a great follow-up to self-love. All right, take care, everybody.